So, I've told you about the thinking. Let me get into the actual mechanics here. In order to win an election, you need two things: a candidate and money. And that's about as simple as it gets. You get the candidate, you get the money. So those are the two key components of the RISC Business Network battle plan. We're focusing on candidates, we're focusing on money. Let me talk about the candidate side. First of all, I mentioned before, we're going to vet candidates. And we're going to vet them more stringently than a political party ever will. Why? Because we can, and because we have to. Because just just getting behind somebody and supporting them and giving them $1 if you don't think they can win, or just because we like them, is taking away $1 from someone else who could win if they had that $1. And I've run a lot of campaigns and I've lost a lot of them because of lack of funding. So every dollar counts. So we're going to do a statistical analysis of the state. We're going to see which seats are vulnerable. And we're going to look and we're going to say, okay, which ones are good guys, bad guys, or girls. I'm from Pennsylvania, so guys is a unisex state. And then, which of these are going to be what we call investment-grade candidates? Once again, we're small business people. We think in small business and entrepreneurialistic terms. So an investment-grade candidate is someone who is in a district that can win, who has demonstrated that they have a good, solid campaign plan, who has demonstrated they have what we would consider a management team that's committed and hopefully a little bit experienced, have demonstrated that they are able to raise money on their own. If you're not willing to raise money, you're not willing to work hard enough at the State House as far as we're concerned. And that they will walk their district. Being a political guy, if you don't walk your district, you lose. If you don't walk your district, you're lazy. And if you're lazy, you can't do the heavy lifting that this community needs to get done up there. So you're not going to get our support. So that's the first thing that we're going to put these candidates through. And frankly, if we get 2 candidates that meet that criteria, okay, those are our 2. There's no room for sentimentality, and there's no room for wishful thinking. We're gonna look for the best, we're gonna get the best, we're gonna ask everybody in here to support the best because that's what you deserve. So that's the candidates. We're gonna have some good candidates. We're focused strictly on the General Assembly races. We're not going lower, we're not going higher, that's the point of the enemy battle lines that we're gonna go in and we're gonna pierce first, okay? And this is a battle. So I call them political campaigns, battle campaign. Now the next part is the money. And this is where it gets really cool. Rhode Island has never seen anything like this before. This changes the political game in Rhode Island forever. Here's what we're doing. We, first of all, looked at, okay, well, how are we going to fund? Because funding's a problem. A couple of options. You get basic contributions in, but that's individual. That's an awful lot of work to do, and it's really tough to pull it off. So you look at creating a PAC. Well, okay, a PAC is fine. You can run, you can raise $25,000. You have a lot of filing, administrative, and bureaucratic stuff that has to be gone through. And for us to hit the numbers we wanted to, we're looking at maybe 10 to 20 PACs. Forget it. We'll be buying ink by the barrel and getting nothing done. No PACs. Okay, so what's another way to do it? Well, there's something called Emily's List. Some of you may have heard of it. And that has to do with bundling campaign contributions, where we go out for the entire network here and we say, all of you guys, cut us a check, and then we will bundle all that money together and we will start sending it to campaigns. Highly effective. You can leverage a ton of dough. But we weren't quite sure if the Board of Elections would accept that model or not. We did some research, we saw that they had in the past, but we didn't want to get too close to that edge, because you get too close and they start pulling you in, and now you run into the situation that Ken Block, who I think is here today, did with the moderate party. They just pinned him down with legal stuff for a while, and he was frozen. So we weren't going to do that. So what we decided was, we're going to create a pledge cloud. And the way it's going to work is, we're going to ask small business people to go out, or to pledge $250 or $500. Right? Now, it could be more, it could be less. And for the most part, they're going to hold on to that money until a certain time when we say, okay, ready, set, these are the candidates, and go. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. Give you some of the details. And in order to create that pledge cloud, what we need to do is we had to build an infrastructure that we're calling captains and lieutenants and contributors. And what this is this is a way to engage a network. Is you find key people, and there are several captains here today. I'm just going to ask them to raise their hand. Christine Cuning, and Mike Raspola, Dave Lucier, Chris Neal in the back. These people are people I'm going to drive you towards in a little bit. The captain's responsibilities are to go out and find at least 5 other small business people who would be willing to contribute $250 or $500. And to ask them to, A, contribute, B, would they be a captain too, tap into their network, because we're a network of networks? Or, if they can't do the 5, would they be willing to do 3 and function as a lieutenant? If you can't do 3, would you be willing just to kind of find people and send them our way? So that's how this network's going to build. And what we're going to ask the network to do is very simple, because you have to keep this stuff simple. And that's part of the genius of what RISC is doing, is they're taking a very complex set of circumstances and making it very simple. They're not dumbing it down. Trust me. They're just making it simple, because they understand how it works. So once we go out and start generating this, now what we need to do is we need to start the process going. So that's basically what you've got. You've got the candidates that are vetted. You've got the finances that are being accumulated in this pledge cloud. Okay, so how does it work? In June, candidates have to file their papers. I'm running. Okay. In July, they have to turn in all their signatures that say, I've received, I've got enough signatures and now I'm an official candidate. So we're going to watch that very closely. We are already doing that district analysis I spoke about before. Who's vulnerable, who isn't, who's good, who's bad, all that kind of stuff. And we have some specific races that we're targeting. We think we can be very, very effective in the Senate, and we think we can have a big impact in the House as well. But the Senate looks like it's where you're going to be able to get most of the power shifted over to you the quickest. So as we're vetting this process, we're going to all of the contributors, and we're asking them, as I said, to give a pledge. In that pledge, $250 or $500, the first thing we're asking you to do is cut a check for 15% of that pledge and send it directly to RISC. It can be a personal check, it can be a company check, it can be any kind of check you want. And that funds the overhead. Like any business, we're small business people. Like any business, it has an overhead expense. It pays for things like this. It pays for consultants and that type of stuff. So get the 15% in as early as you can so you can help fund and fuel this. And right now, to RISC's credit, they've been funding almost all of this out of their pocket, hoping that it catches. So they put their money where their mouth is right off the bat. Then, once we start making a determination on candidates, we're going to start telling the network, okay, this person is running here, they meet our criteria. This person is running up here, they meet our criteria. Obviously, the sooner the candidates get in the game and we can get a look at them, the better for them, because early money is like yeast. It raises more money. And we're going to be making an announcement probably sometime in July that these are the RISC-endorsed candidates. And for our money, we think it's the best place for you to put your money. Now, we've got 35,000 small businesses. If we have less than 6% say we think this is a good idea, which is a ridiculously low number because everybody we talk to says this is a good idea, but saying it's good and showing up with a couple of bucks is different. But if we have 2,000 businesses and they each just decide to put in $250, and that's not much between now and November, that's a pledge cloud of $500,000. No political party in the state of Rhode Island has ever raised $500,000 for General Assembly elections. No public, no special interest has ever done that. RISC becomes an immediate game changer like that. And everybody's got to listen.